Welcome to What Is, the show where we take the complicated stuff and break it down into bite-sized, digestible pieces so you can sound like the smartest person at the dinner table. Today, we're looking up, way up, at those giant, three-armed giants standing in fields and oceans. Today, we're asking, what is a wind turbine? Now, before we get into the nuts and bolts, let's clear the air on one very common misconception. A wind turbine is not a fan. A fan uses electricity to make wind because you're sweaty and it's July. A wind turbine uses wind to make electricity because we have a lot of stuff to plug in and the planet is getting a bit toasted. It's essentially a fan operating in reverse. If a fan is a wind maker, a turbine is a wind taker. But how did we get here? Humans have been obsessed with catching the wind for thousands of years. We used it to sail ships, and eventually, around the 9th century, the Persians figured out they could use vertical axis windmills to grind grain. Then the Dutch stepped in and made the horizontal axis windmill famous, mostly to pump water out of their low-lying lands, so they didn't all end up living underwater. Fast forward to 1887, and an inventor named Charles Brush built the first modern wind turbine in Cleveland, Ohio. It had 144 cedar blades and looked like a giant wooden sunflower. It produced about 12 kilowatts of power, which, by today's standards, might just barely keep your gaming PC and a microwave running at the same time. But it was proof the breeze could be a battery. So, how does a modern one work? It looks simple, right? The wind blows, the thing spins, and boom, magic lightning for your toaster. Well, it's a bit more physicsy than that. It all starts with the blades. Most turbines have 3 blades. Why 3? Why not 2 or 20? It's the Goldilocks zone of engineering. 2 blades are unstable and wobble like a bad ceiling fan. Too many blades create too much weight and drag. 3 is just right for balance and efficiency. These blades aren't just flat planks of wood. They are shaped like airplane wings, an airfoil design. When the wind blows, it moves faster over the curved top of the blade than the flat bottom. This creates a difference in air pressure. The low pressure on top lifts the blade, pulling it forward. This is the same principle that keeps a 500-ton Boeing 747 in the sky. Except here, the wing is bolted to a pole. So instead of taking off for Orlando, it just spins in a circle. But here's the problem. The wind doesn't always blow at the same speed or from the same direction. That's why these giants have a brain. On top of the main housing, which is called the nacelle by the way, there's an anemometer and a wind vane. These sensors tell the turbine, hey, the wind shifted 5 degrees to the left. The turbine then activates the yaw drive, which rotates the entire top of the structure to face the wind head-on. It's like a giant slow-motion sunflower tracking the sun. Inside the nacelle is where the real work happens. The blades are connected to a main shaft, but they spin relatively slowly, maybe 10 to 20 rotations per minute. If you hooked that directly to a generator, you'd get about enough energy to power a single LED bulb. To fix this, the slow shaft goes into a gearbox. This gearbox is the unsung hero. It uses a series of gears to speed up that slow rotation by a factor of about 90. So that lazy-looking spin of the blades translates into 1,500 to 1,800 rotations per minute inside the generator. Now, inside that generator, magnets are spinning rapidly around coils of copper wire. This creates electromagnetic induction. At this point, we've officially turned moving air into moving electrons. Successful. The electricity then travels down cables inside the tower, through a transformer at the base to kick up the voltage, and out onto the electrical grid. From there, it finds its way to your house so you can watch cat videos in high definition. Now, Let's talk about the sheer scale of these things, because pictures don't do them justice. A standard land-based turbine tower is about 300 feet tall. Add the blades, and you're looking at something taller than the Statue of Liberty. If you laid one blade on a football field, it would stretch from the end zone to the 50-yard line. And they're getting even bigger. Offshore turbines, the ones planted in the ocean, are absolute behemoths. Some are as tall as skyscrapers, with blades longer than a soccer pitch. Why? Because the wind over the ocean is stronger, more consistent, and there are no neighbors to complain about the view. Speaking of complaints, let's address the elephant, or the bird, in the room. People have concerns. What about the birds? They ask. It's true, turbines do cause bird fatalities. However, statistically, your house cat, glass windows, and even fossil fuel power plants are significantly bigger threats to our feathered friends. Engineers are also testing things like painting one blade black or using acoustic deterrents to help birds see and avoid the spinning giants. Another common gripe is intermittency. What happens when the wind stops blowing? Do we all just sit in the dark and tell ghost stories? Not quite. The grid is a team sport. When the wind is low, solar, hydro, or stored battery power kicks in. And when the wind is howling at 3 a.m. while everyone is asleep, that excess energy can be stored in massive battery arrays for later use. The future of wind is looking pretty wild, too. We're moving toward floating wind farms. Instead of bolting the turbine to the seafloor, which limits us to shallow water, we're putting them on massive floating platforms anchored with cables. This allows us to put turbines way out at sea, where the wind is powerful enough to probably blow the hair off a mannequin. So, what is a wind turbine? It's a bridge between the ancient wisdom of the Persians and the high-tech needs of the 21st century. It's a machine that takes the invisible energy of our atmosphere and turns it into something tangible, renewable, and, let's be honest, pretty cool to look at. It's not just a giant pinwheel. It's a massive, aerodynamic power plant that's helping us transition away from burning old dinosaurs. The next time you see one spinning slowly on a hillside, remember, inside that box is a complex dance of magnets, gears, and physics, all working together to keep your lights on. Thanks for joining us on What Is. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the breeze, make sure to hit that like button. It helps the algorithm find us, which is almost as complicated as a gearbox. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Have a question about something else you've seen but don't quite understand? Drop it in the comments below, and it might just be the subject of our next video. Until next time, keep questioning everything. See you in the next one.